Hello everyone, this is Roxas1359. Welcome to the finale of Let's Play The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge. Last time, we defeated Mega Oogie, ending his scheme of becoming the 7-holiday king, and taking him out with the rest of the trash. In this little bonus part, I'm going to be showing off the fruits of our labor, and everything that we've done, as well as Jack Skellington's house, which I have not gone to throughout this project. Now, I made it a fact that I wouldn't come here because I wanted to have this be its own little bonus part, just to show off what's inside Jack's house. You can go inside Jack's house either once you complete a mission, as you might have noticed on the chapter select screen after you beat a chapter, or through Halloween Town itself. Starting from the very first chapter of the game, you can enter Jack's house. And the interesting part about it is the time of day in which you come into Jack's house is reflected based on the windows. I like that little detail. It's pretty nice. You can see a little things from the movie around here, like his Christmas equation from the movie. As well, I believe his electric chair is right here, covered in its Christmas lights. Zero's little bed, and then the fireplace. But that's not the whole reason why we're here. No, we're here to see what exactly we can do inside this place, game-wise. Well, this is where we're going to be able to view your movies, listen to the soundtrack, and a bunch of other little things. So, right here we have our phonograph, which will have all of the game tracks in the game, I believe, because sometimes, yes, okay. Now, to unlock these tracks, you're going to have to listen to them at least once, which means you're going to have to play those missions at least once and beat them. That's pretty straightforward. Now, what's not pretty straightforward are the videos in this game, which are right here based on Jack's old projector. Now, there are a ton of film clips in this one, and I haven't gotten them all. Now, you might be claiming, oh, well, Roxas, this isn't a true 100% run if you haven't gotten them all. The reason why I haven't gotten them all is a lot of them require specific things. More specifically, I should say, the ones right here. You can notice I have a large batch missing right here, and the reason for that is how they're unlocked. These are all hinterlands clips, actually, and the ones I have unlocked are based on the ones I did. Yes, to unlock each of the clips, you're going to have to do a different combination of getting an Oogie door and then putting on a different door for each one of these clips. That's why I didn't go out of my way to get them, because that would be tedious, and I only did the hinterlands twice, which is why I don't have them all. Each one of them is pretty much just Jack in front of a different door saying the same things and having the same revelations. I think the reason why they had them be separate clips like this is because they actually are Jack in a different location. Now, there are a few other clips that are unlocked through special circumstances. One of them that is unlocked is when you have the sleeping soup before you begin Chapter 8. Since I actually showed that off in the project, that's no problem at all. However, there are other clips, such as this one right here. This one is if you don't talk to the hanging tree before doing the third mission in the game and finding the hanging tree's hanging man, and you go to Zero's grave and try to find him. Pretty much all it is Jack just tapping his leg and Zero not coming up. So it's pretty much just half of the cutscene we end up getting. Another one, which unfortunately I don't know which clip exactly it is if you go to the pumpkin patch before you end up doing it. Let me check my list real quick. Which one is that one? Because I made a point to do that one. I think it's clip 26 according to this one. Now, I went out of my way to get this one because this one I think is actually rather unique. So, let's play clip 26, unless my list is wrong. Short clip, nope. Yes, that one is if you go to the pumpkin patch before you have Santa Jack at all. So, pretty much, when I actually first got it, I was doing it in the second mission of the game, the witching hour. So, it was morning then. So, this actually confirms my theory to a degree that a lot of the cutscenes are real-time based on Jack. Now, You might have noticed that I'm not carrying over into my forms like Pumpkin King or Santa Jack when talking to the citizens. No, what I mean by real time is Jack Skellington's model himself, because now we get into the other thing you unlock once you end up beating the game. If you beat the game with a certain grade, you will unlock a special costume for Jack, which, if you try to access them earlier, Jack will say that your wardrobe is locked. Now, there is a cheat code to actually get all of them, but obviously I don't need to use cheat codes because I did the game 100% on the project. In fact, I actually didn't learn that there were cheat codes for this game at all until after a good, I think, 3/4 of the way through this project is when I first learned that there were actually cheat codes for this game. Of course, I never used any at all, because that would be cheating. But what are our costumes? We have Pajama, Dancing, Thespian, and Phantom Jack. Now, the easiest one to unlock, and one that you are probably going to unlock the first time you do this game, is Pajama Jack. So, what does Pajama Jack look like? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's Jack Skellington in his pajamas. More specifically, the ones that show up in the movie, actually. Now, to get this costume, what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to beat the game with an overall grade of a C or higher, which means if you somehow didn't get that, I think you're playing on the wrong difficulty mode. So, that takes care of that one. So, what about good old-fashioned Dancing Jack? Now, Dancing Jack is actually one of my personal favorites. White suit, little top hat. Well, big top hat in this case. I love this costume. I just really do. This carries over into bosses, and this carries over into cutscenes that have Jack specifically inside them if it's a real-time cutscene and not one of the pre-rendered ones. Now, this one, you have to get a B grade overall or higher in order to be able to unlock. So, now on to what is actually my least favorite costume. And that is Thespian Jack. I mean, it goes with how he is for his personality. Personally, I can't get over the little poofy pants. I'm that immature. He's got a long flowing cape, though, so that's pretty cool. And the cape actually does flow. It does have clipping issues sometimes, I've noticed, but that's more or less another problem all its own. To get this costume, you need to beat the game with a rank of A or higher overall, which pretty much, to get an overall rank of A or higher, you're going to have to get all missions being A. Yes, this is when it starts to get really strict, because in the case of the final costume, which is Phantom Jack, which is slowly becoming one of my favorites, you need to get an overall grade of an S. For this one, every single mission in the game must be S ranked in order to unlock this one without using a cheat code. And otherwise, even if you have one A, it will still tell you your game's overall ranking is that of an A. This is your ultimate reward for getting all S ranks, is a lovely costume. Now, you might be thinking, oh, well, that's not a really good reward. I mean, it's just a costume, albeit a really cool looking costume. I could just use the cheat code for that. Well, another thing for getting 100% in this game is, as I've already shown off, infinite fire souls for the Pumpkin King, which means we can breathe fire infinitely, but more importantly, we can spam fire bombs infinitely. Now, believe it or not, there is actually a code to unlock this as well, if you do not feel like going after all the figures in the game. But obviously, I went after all the figures, and I unlocked this one legitimately. So, now let's show off our other fruits of our labor, all the figures of the game. Here is our lovely figure shelf to display our trophies of our fallen allies. Well, not fallen allies, our fallen enemies as well as us. We got our Zero, we got our Pumpkin King, Santa, Jack Skellington himself, Sally, Santa, Corpse Kid, both Green and Red Elf, Igor, Dr. Finkelstein, the Mayor, Clown, the 4 Vampire Brothers, whose mission was still a pain in the butt, the 2 Witches, Behemoth, Lock, Shock. I went out of order. That is clearly Barrel, Shock, and Lock. And then 3 Brats in a Tub, the Hanging Tree, and 3 Mr. Hydes. And on this side, we have our enemies. So, We have our Treat figure and Trick, which is the only one in the game in which you actually would have gotten 4 figures for 1, technically. We have our Shadow Oogie, our regular Oogie, our Roulette Oogie, or as I like to call him, Neon Oogie, who I have a plush of that I do know the location of because he is staring at me right now. And Mega Oogie. We have our Baby Spiders and our Super Spider, which we both got at the same time. Fire King and Ice King, which is why I said those completely out of order when pointing at them. Go me. And our regular mooks of the game from Blue Skeleton, which don't really get their name unless they're in their Oogie mode. Their Heat Skeleton, kind of the same thing. Our King Skeleton, that would make sense. Our Troll Skeleton, makes sense. Our Halloween Ghost, our King Ghost, and our Orc Skeletons. So, if you actually want to take a closer look at the figures, you simply hit the X button on them to select them, and you can rotate them. It says with the D-pad, you can rotate it with the left analog stick. And you can zoom in with the R1 button, zoom out with it, default it back with the Start button. So yes, that is pretty much all of Oogie's Revenge in a nutshell. You get all of the figures, you get infinite souls, you get an all S rank, you get a pretty cool looking Jack Skellington. And what do I think of these rewards? I think they're fine, mainly because I think the Fire Souls is a great addition to it, because believe me, being able to do this infinitely is a lot more helpful. Unfortunately, though, we're at the point in the game to where it is completely useless to me since, you know, the game is over for me. So, where does this leave me with Oogie's Revenge? Well, I'm obviously still going to be playing this game from the future from now on. I had originally considered of doing a bonus part in which I ended up showing off doing Casino Clash correctly, but I do have another video on my channel in which I do Casino Clash correctly, and I'll just link it in the description. It's got a bit of a downgrade in quality because it was recorded a lot long ago, but I think it still applies based on it. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, let's see our total results, which is right here on our desk. Beautiful. 21 hours, 13 minutes, 48 seconds, 120,245 souls, and a total S rank later. So, anyway guys, I'm going to end it off right here. This has been Roxas1359, and I thank you guys for watching my Let's Play of The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge. Stay tuned for my next LP project, which will be showing up after this.